has summarized, we held workshops, regional workshops, and the purpose is to provide the skill to our people, give them the capacity and the knowledge that can arm them in taking their work forward. I know some of you are so knowledgeable now to talk to your operators. I know there are some operators here, and argue about things. Previously, I believe that people in the ministry did not know a lot about telecommunication, and especially the issues that they can talk and twist the arms of the operators about. Okay. That's the methodology that we used. And again, all the countries, recipient countries of this project agreed to. They said, Ngisa, we want you to do the assessment of the present situation first, which we all did together. And then you wanted me to identify the national best practices as well as the regional best practices, and then link them to the international best practices before we do the implementation. And that's what we did. And I'm very happy to say that there weren't many national best practices, a few regional best practices before we did the project. But now all of you understand the international and linking them to the regional. Implementation. The reason why we have been able to do a lot, like regional workshops as well as in-country support, is because we ask you what your needs are, and then you told us. And then we listened to you, because if we didn't listen to you, then I'm sure we wouldn't have done, address all the issues that you wanted. And notice the word priority needs. I know a lot of countries gave us a long lists of what they want to do, but because of the limited time frame of the project, this first phase, as well as the money or the budget, we were able to prioritize what your needs are. And the other factor is the excellent collaboration between the project as well as the focal points, and in particular, the advice from our global project manager in Geneva. And I wish to thank all the focal points and everyone in each country that I used to work with for the commitment. For example, this morning, Stuart asked, who can guess how many countries had completed this questionnaire and sent it to us? What was the answer, Stuart? 0. But everybody knows that with our group, I would send a questionnaire and say 3 days. And I may not get anything the first and second day, but everybody sends it to me on the 3rd day. When I took this job, a lot of people in my circle said, good luck, Ngisa. The Pacific people don't talk, and the Pacific people don't even read questionnaires. I have proven them wrong. Okay, these are the topics that you agreed to. National ICT policy, and as Elizabeth said, we have done the assessment of the present situation for all these topics. And for the National ICT policy, we have done in-country support in all the Pacific Island countries except Tuvalu and Solomon Islands, as well as, what's the third country? Timor-Leste or East Timor. We haven't provided any assistance at all to develop their national ICT policy. Fiji is the only country, or the first country in the Pacific, where ITU developed its national broadband policy. And this was last year. Now we are moving to help them with the implementation. Universal access, it's the same thing. We have done workshops, and now we're ready to do in-country support. Same as licensing, numbering, interconnection, and cybersecurity. For cybersecurity, I'd like to say something about this topic. Samoa has passed its cybercrime legislation chapter of the Crimes Act. It's done its second reading in Parliament. We are now awaiting the third reading before it becomes law. So how about we give a hand for Samoa? Yeah. And last week, ITU experts were in Cook Islands, and they were conducting the public consultation for the cybercrime legislation. Today, as I speak, they are in Suva conducting the public consultation for Fiji's cybercrime legislation. Next week, in Niue, they will conduct the public consultation. So, all of you here today, if you want assistance with any of those topics, then come and see me. Okay, going forward, I asked Stuart, Stu, what do you want me to talk about? And Stu said, I want you to talk about going forward. Here it is. This month in Kiribati, the Economic Ministers meeting had an action plan, and I picked up 3 action points. And one of them has recognized the important role of the knowledge-based economy, and I've highlighted further liberalization. I think that is very important. As we have seen in Samoa, in PNG, in Fiji, in Vanuatu, the cost of calling using the mobile have come down substantially because of liberalization and promoting competition. The second one, is the ministers have recognized this digital divide in Pacific Island countries. And again, they talk about liberalization. I thought that is very important. The third one is the ministers urging developing partners, some of them are here, including ITU, to look at the key ICT infrastructure. I think that is very important. And from that, we look at the way forward for in-country support. From today till July 2013, we will be focusing on providing assistance to the countries on all these topics I've listed here. And this is the process for in-country support. You tell me what you want, right? The project. And then we will develop a terms of reference. We'll send it to you to go through, only because I want you to make sure that whatever your needs are captured into this TOR. And after that, if you don't know an expert, you tell me, I recruit an expert. And then it's done in 2 phases. Phase 1, the expert works from home to develop a draft, which is sent to you, you provide your comments, and then when we get to a final draft, we go to second phase, which is conducting the public consultation, provides final inputs, and then, of course, your responsibility to submit to your highest level for approval. I always had this feeling that, hey, why am I talking? Everybody knows about this project. Then I realized that there are some people, there have been some changes in a lot of countries, and some of them are new. So this is why it's very important that we have, when you have a change of minister or permanent secretary or CEO, please advise. And then if you want in-country support, if you want assistance, if you want someone to help you with all these topics, you can find me somewhere outside. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lisa. You're going to have an opportunity to ask questions, so I'm hoping you're noting these down after we've finished with all of the 3 presenters this morning. Our next one you've heard from already, Mr. Stuart Davis, who is the telecom expert from APT. He will be doing a report on APT's HRD expert meeting. While he sets up, I'll give you a bit of background to Stuart. Many of you probably already know this. He's worked in telecommunications for a very long time, spanning, I'd say, 4 decades. He was Director General of the Cook Islands Post Office until Telecom Cook Islands was formed. He was largely responsible for setting up Telecom Cook Islands and is the founding director and CEO, past CEO of Telecom Cook Islands Limited. He has been Vice President and President of PETA for a number of years, and he is, of course, now with APT. Stuart?
So thank you, Elizabeth. I never expected you to read all that. Okay. As I mentioned earlier this morning, the APT had a HRD experts meeting in Bangkok, and this was held in June last month in Bangkok, and it was attended by about 36 participants, which includes 15 member countries and 20 training establishment representatives. This is actually a small meeting by normal standards, but actually was a lot more than what we had expected to attend, because normally we offer fellowships for people to attend the meetings, but in this one there were no country fellowships offered. So the reason for the meeting is that APT has been running these HRD training courses, and we run typically over 20 training courses a year for about 30 years, and we've never done a review and to see whether we're doing things right or whether it can be improved. And so we decided to have this meeting to just see that, get people's views on how we could make it better improving. So the meeting was in the format of discussion groups, and we had round tables, and actually we had 6 round tables, and they were given a set of questions to answer, and they produced a staggering list of 94 recommendations, which is quite a lot for us to deal with. And so in order to actually deal with these recommendations and to actually make some progress, a working group was set up to work online remotely, so that they can then start working on all of these recommendations. Some of the recommendations are quite practical and certainly will get implemented. Some of them are not quite so practical, but it's up to the working group to decide how best to deal with them. So the questions that we asked each of the round tables, we asked the same question to each round table, and one at a time, so that all the round tables first of all discussed the first subject, and the first subject was meeting member countries' needs. Are we meeting their needs? We're running these training programs, but are we actually truly meeting their needs? The number 2 question was the possible restructure of the APT training program. Could we restructure it to make it more efficient or to provide better value to the members? Number 3, fellowship arrangements. APT provides 1 fellowship per administration for almost all of the training courses. So the fellowship arrangements are, as one can imagine, very costly, and so this meant that a very important topic for us to look at. Then number 4 was the evaluation of the training courses and KPIs. Actually, this produced a lot of discussion, and I'll go back over this in a minute, but certainly was an eye-opener for many of us. When I spoke about the Bali Plan of Action earlier this morning, and also the APT strategic plan, there's a lot of emphasis on online training. So we had a discussion